It's time to talk some NFL wildcard round for Sunday games, and we got three of them. Let's talk some football. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back into another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I am your host, Steven, and we're back, baby. That's right. We are here to talk Sunday football games, and I am jacked. I think Sunday is the best day this weekend. We got a full weekend of some good games, good storylines, things to talk about. But we're going to go over all that. But reminder, the Discord link is below. Some of you guys have been asking for the link. Guys, we have almost 3,000 people in the Discord, bets and ideas going all day long. And when I join in, sometimes it's just, sometimes not even about sports. We just talk, get to know each other, things like that. So it's a lot of fun. Join that Discord below. It is completely free, just so you know. But if you are looking for the Saturday games, that video is already out. So go check it out now. We give our preview and best bets for those two games. And then the one Monday night standalone game will be out. That video will be out late Sunday night. We're going to go over, preview that, and give out our best bet for that as well. So let's have a good playoffs, get some winners out there in the football wild card round. And in this video, if you already watched Saturday video, you saw the trends, but we're going to go over those real quick again. Just highlight the ones for these three games, and then we're going to preview and give our best bet for all three games, and we got some interesting ones. We got the Steelers versus the Bills, Packers versus the Dallas Cowboys, and then we end it with the Rams at the Detroit Lions. So we're going to preview all of them. I got one best bet in every single game, and then we'll wrap it up with the bets recap. So hit that like button, leave a comment below, help this channel grow, share with your friends. That would really help us as well. As we look and get closer to 20,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so incredibly much for all the support. You know we love you guys. So that's what we got. Here are the NFL trends for the wild card round. You saw these already on the Saturday night video. I'm not going to say every single one of them, but we got some good ones out there. This should just be a part of your handicap, not the reason you make a bet, just FYI. But let's just highlight the ones for these Sunday games now. And down there towards the bottom, we got the Steelers 1-10 straight up without TJ Watt in his career. We mentioned that in the last video. They have just massively struggled. TJ Watt is a huge part of their team. And then the Bills, 3-7 ATS, last 10 as a favorite, and 0-8 against the spread, the last 8 games as a double-digit favorite. Now, that game might be down to 9.5, so it's not technically double-digit, but we'll talk about that anyways. But anyways, those are the two trends for those games. Let's go to the page 2, and we got the under 7-3 in the last 10 Bills home games, under 7-1 the last 8 times the Bills have played the Steelers, and the under 7-2 in the 9 Steelers road games, the last 9. All trends are pointing to the under in that one, that's for sure. So, and then we got the over 11-3 in the last 14 games combined between the Rams and the Lions. That's got a pretty high total as well. And then you see the Monday night games also for the last two trends. Last one's really just informational about the Eagles. But anyways, those are the NFL trends for the wild card round. Hopefully that helps you guys get some winners. We had a very good season on these trends if you just bet them straight up. So that was pretty cool to see. But it's time. Let's get into our first game. All right, we go out to snowy Buffalo as the Bills host the Pittsburgh Steelers. Bills minus 9.5 right now. Total 35.5. That's right. Let's just talk some storylines and info on this game before we get into the best bets. Coach McDermott and Tomlin, the two coaches for these teams, actually went to college together and know each other pretty dang well. I just learned that, actually. I didn't even know that. Also, Pittsburgh is geographically the closest team to Buffalo. That's what I heard. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. That's just what I read. But I had no idea on that either. Also, the weather will be ugly. I do know that. It is going to be atrocious. 50% chance of snow, temperature around 20 degrees, winds possibly up to 30 miles an hour. And apparently, the winds can be really ugly in Orchard Park. It's not exactly downtown Buffalo, it's Orchard Park. The wind's off the lake. This is, me, the weatherman right now. Can be ugly. You guys that live in that area, you guys know a lot more than I do. This is just what I'm hearing, what I'm reading. So it could be ugly. Wind to me is the biggest factor in a football game. It's not necessarily some rain or cold weather. It is the wind. It's hard to pass in the wind, hard to kick in the wind, things like that. So this total opened around 42. It is already down to 35.5. It's absolutely insane, and that's all due to the weather. That's for sure. I do want to say one thing before you place any bets on this game. Just stay tuned as to what's going on with the weather because there is some rumors, some rumblings out there that they may move the game to Cleveland. NFL hasn't come out and said they are or anything like that, but there's just a slight chance if it's too bad of weather and people can't even get to the game and things like that. So just want to point that out. this is not my favorite game to handicap. I'll say that. So, but these are two of the hotter teams coming into the playoffs. Bills 5-game winning streak. Steelers are on a 3-game winning streak. But the Steelers are also the only team in the playoffs with a negative point differential. We know that I don't know if we call them lucky or they just find ways to win based on defense and things like that. But injuries in this game, the huge one, T.J. Watt, we already talked about it. Maybe no Gabe Davis for the Bills. At least that's what it's looking like. The number 2 receiver for the Buffalo Bills. But it does look like safety Minka Fitzpatrick will be back, and that would be a huge help for the Buffalo Bills defense. That's for sure. So, or for the Steelers defense. Sorry. Anyways, my best bet in this game. It's not exactly a guy that's just right there on the radar, but I'm going with the tight end. Give me Dalton Kincaid over 3.5 receptions at -120 on BetMGM was the best odds on this one, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. But this line, it's -150 on FanDuel, -135 on DraftKings. If you get even a little bit, 4.5 to me is just a little too much. But if you're getting plus money, I don't mind it either, and we're going to talk about why. But this weather being bad, these short passes to tight ends, I think, is what Josh Allen's going to rely on. And this rookie tight end, by the way, is one of the best tight ends in the league. I mean, he is unbelievable. He had the 4th most catches ever by a rookie tight end. That's crazy to me. The 4th most ever by a rookie tight end. Now, with Gabe Davis come out of the game, he becomes the obvious number 2 for Josh Allen. And last game versus the Dolphins, when Gabe Davis actually went out with an injury early in the game, Kincaid had 7 catches for 84 yards. He crushed this line. He doubled it. And he had 4+ catches in 9 of the last 11 games. I mean, 4+ catches. I think this line is just too low, to be honest with you, at least at these odds. He's actually had 5+ catches in 8 of 11. That's why if you get a line at 4.5 at plus money, I don't mind that. He's done that in 8 of 11 games. I also liked his over 34.5 receiving yards. Just one or the other. Because of the possibility of snow, I don't want to count on yards. I'd rather just catch, hopefully he catches some short passes, get 4 catches, and move on with the win. But like I said, 5, 6+ catches might be a sprinkle if you want to kind of ladder it. But he's facing the Steelers. They've given up the 14th most receptions to tight ends at 86 this season, so kind of average, little over 5 catches per game. Now, not counting last week, because the Ravens just really didn't play any starters. Steelers recently have given up 5 catches to Noah Fant, 3 to Drew Sample, 3 to Hunter Henry, and 8 to Trey McBride. Now, McBride is actually someone closer to the talent of Kincaid, that's for sure. And 8 catches for McBride. With Gabe Davis out, I think this line is just too low. Like I mentioned, the only thing impacting here is the weather, and I think that's why maybe some of these numbers are just dropped ever so slightly on receptions, on receiving yards, and things like that. So, if I had to give another one, because I'm here to give you guys ideas, not just my best bet, I also like Najee Harris over 15.5 rush attempts. That was almost the best bet of mine. Last 3 games, he is being used heavily. I mean, we're talking 19, 27, and 26 rush attempts, just flying over this. Snow game may mean more running the ball as well, because you don't want to pass the ball a ton, especially when it's Mason Rudolph. He has played well, but it's still Mason Rudolph. So 15.5 seems a little low to me. I think it's juiced to the over anyways, but that's just another idea in this game. But I also like Kincaid just for the yards, but I'm going to go with reception as my best bet. Just make sure you check the weather and know what's going on in this game, because there's a lot of snow and a lot of wind, just like normal, and a nice little Buffalo playoff game. This is not uncommon, that's for sure. So give me Kincaid over 3.5 catches as bet number 1. All right, game number 2 takes us out to Dallas, Texas. We got the Cowboys hosting the Green Bay Packers. Dallas Cowboys -7.5, total 50.5 in this game. Some news storylines on this one. Mike McCarthy coaching against his old team, the team that he won a Super Bowl with a while back. These are 2 storied franchises, Packers, Cowboys. We all know that. We got Jordan Love making his first NFL playoff start, and Dak Prescott, the veteran who gets a lot of flack for not winning the big games. A lot of flack. Dak gets a lot of flack. Just hit me. Anyways, he's 2-4 in the playoffs in his career. Other than that, there's not many more storylines in this game. Cowboys are just unbelievable at home. And if I had to lean aside, I'm probably going Cowboys -7.5. Packers, we're going to talk about the Packers here in a bit, but they have not played a lot of really good offenses. So my best bet in this game is going to be a player prop. It's Tony Pollard over 60.5 rush yards at -114. This one's on FanDuel. Pollard's had an up and down season. We all thought he was going to turn into this number 1 stud in the NFL, and it just hasn't worked out that way this year. And in fact, he's only over this in 4 of the last 10, but they still put the line at 60.5, and I don't really care. I don't think it's high enough. 13 plus carries in 4 of his last 6. So he is still heavily involved. In his last 2 games, he had 16 and 17 carries, which is what you want to see if you're trying to get 61 yards. He's facing a Packers defense that we talked about before. They're bad versus the run, especially when they have to worry about actual good passing offenses. When you really dig into the Packers, the teams they've faced on offense, my goodness, it hasn't been pretty. But last 5 games they've played: Bears, Vikings, Panthers, Bucks, and Giants. Stop me when you've heard a really good passing offense. Yes, the Bucks can show up sometimes, but then they also just throw up duds. So it hasn't been pretty. This is the Vikings with like their third string quarterback and all that. So they have just been committing to stopping the run, putting extra guys in the box. Before those 5 games, they played offenses in the Chiefs and Lions. The Chiefs were a little bit better at this point, and they were a little. And because they had to deal with the pass and the run, Pacheco 18 carries for 110 yards. Gibbs Montgomery combo for the Lions, 26 carries for 125 yards. And even when this team had to face the Rams earlier this year, which is a good offense, Stafford was out. Rippon was the quarterback. So it's really just wild to see that. The only good offenses this team has faced all season long are the Detroit Lions twice, the Vikings once when Kirk Cousins was quarterback, Chargers, I don't even know if you count them that good of an offense, and the Chiefs, who aren't even the Chiefs anymore. Those are it, guys. So now they have to face the number 1 home offense in the entire NFL and the Dallas Cowboys. This is going to be a huge step up for them on offense. And I think they have to come into this focusing on stopping the passing game. I don't think they're coming in saying, you know what, as long as we stop Pollard, we're going to be okay. That's not the case. They got CD Lamb, they got Ferguson, they got all these boys, Brandon Cooks. So they're going to be trying to focus on that. And that's one of their strengths is their passing game. But their run defense is just not as good. The game script in this one should lead to a Cowboys lead. Hopefully a few more carries in the second half, at least because of that. So give me Pollard over 60.5 rush yards is my second best bet. And then if I had to lean, like I said, I'd probably go Cowboys minus 7.5. So now before we get into the third and final game, let's check out that incredible deal that we have with BetMGM. All right, thanks to our partnership with OddsShopper, we have an incredible promotion that I have to show you guys because it's just unreal. With BetMGM for new users, you bet $5, you get $158 instantly in bonus bets. It's an incredible deal. If you're in one of the eligible states, what do you got to lose? I mean, honestly, you just go sign up for BetMGM, use the link below. That's how you got to do it. Use that link below, register, set up an account, bet $5, and you get $158 instantly. And maybe you win something with that $5. Go bet it on a parlay or something huge. So that's a great deal, guys. Must be 21 years or older. If you have a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Now, back to the bets. All right, the third and final game on Sunday night. We got the Lions hosting the LA Rams. Lions -3 total in this game is 51.5. We all know the big storyline in this one. We got Matthew Stafford going back to Detroit to take on his old team. This is wild. Obviously, we also have Jared Goff playing his old team, motivated to beat his old team that let him go, that gave up on him. This Lions crowd, this is wild to me. They're seeing a home playoff game in Detroit for the first time since January 8th, 1994. 30 freaking years ago. I was almost 8 years old. It is just absolutely insane. This place is just going to be rocking. Reminds me of Mariner fans that don't get to see many playoff games. But I'm going to be honest with you before I get into this. I didn't make a bet because of it, but I am rooting for the Rams. First of all, the Rams are in our or I'm rooting for the Lions, not the Rams. Come on. The Rams are the rival in our division for my Seattle Seahawks. So obviously I'm not a fan of the Rams, and I love Dan Campbell. I think he's awesome. I think he's a great coach. And I'd love to see Detroit Lions finally do something. So I am going to be rooting for the Lions. But my best bet in this game, it's not exactly towards the Lions. Give me a 6-point same game teaser. The Rams +9 and the over 45.5 at -120 on DraftKings. So like I usually do throughout the season, 6-point teasers. This is just going to be in the same game. I'm taking the spread to +9 and the over-under down to 45.5 and taking the over. So let's talk Rams +9 a little bit. This Rams team has been playing really good football, especially offensively. Last 6 games, not counting Week 18, they didn't play any starters, averaging 26 points per game. That's insane. The combo of Kupp and Nakua, it's going to be hard for this Lions secondary to stop, in my opinion. It's hard for anybody to stop, really. Nakua setting rookie receiver records. Rams have only lost by 10 or more points one time the entire season. just once, and that was in Dallas earlier this year, where a lot of teams struggle. Sam Laporta, that's big news. He is probably the best tight end in the NFL this year. Honestly, it's crazy. Maybe just top three if you want to be safe, but he is going to be out. That was a big injury last week. He had 82 receptions, the most ever by a rookie tight end, the most ever. And this is also wild. This is what I heard. Hopefully, I'm right. Only Gronk and Mike Ditka have scored 10 touchdowns or more as a rookie tight end. That's pretty good company. So that's going to be a big blow to the Lions. And now, also, in order to blow a team out, which is what the Lions would have to do here, at least to win 10 by 10 or more, usually you have to have a defense that stops people, and they just haven't been doing that, especially in the passing game. They've been a better run defense, at least throughout the course of the season, but this may be the best wide receiver combo in the NFL. And then don't forget, you got Kyron Williams, who's been an absolute stud. He is a budding star in this league at running back. They just got lots of weapons. I just don't like the matchup. It's unfortunate they're not playing like the Eagles or someone else like that, because this is just not a good matchup to play a hot team like the Rams with a good offense. So, I hope the Lions win, and I'm just taking +9. I just need them to stay within 8 or less points, the Rams, and I see this game going right down to the wire. So I think +9 is a great call here. And then the over, 45.5. I think this game goes over 51.5, the original line. It's indoor. It's on a fast track. We're not dealing with snow or anything like that. These are two of the best offenses in the league. We all know that. Lions have scored the fifth most points per game at home at 30.5. Rams have scored the eighth most points per game on the road at 23.7. I've already talked about weapons and matchups and all things like that, but I just don't see a lot of punts in this one. I'm going to be honest with you. The weather, I mean, it's just ideal. So only two of the Lions' 8 home games have gone under 45.5. So 6 of 8 have gone over this 45.5 number. And those two that went over is the Falcons and Bears. I mean, two teams that at that point when they played, they had zero offense whatsoever. So even if these teams just hit their averages, what they score at home and on the road, the total would be around 53 points. I mean, that's just if they just hit their average. So I see this game, to be honest, I see it in the mid 50s. I see a game that goes right down to the wire. I think this is going to be electric. It is going to be exciting. Detroit, hopefully they just play well and come out with the dub. But either way, I think it's going to be close. So give me the Rams +9 and give me the over 45.5 as a 6-point teaser as my third and final bet for Sunday football games in the wild card round. It's going to be exciting, man. I can't wait for this weekend to watch some football. So now let's go check out the bets recap. All right, there it is. Dalton Kincaid of the Bills over 3.5 catches at -120 on BetMGM. And then give me Tony Pollard of the Cowboys over 60.5 rush yards at -114 on FanDuel. And we end it with a 6-point teaser. Give me the Rams +9.5 and the over 45.5 at -120 on DraftKings. If I have any added plays, it'll be in Discord. It'll be in the pinned comments below. But those are my bets for Sunday. Again, go check out that Saturday video that is already out now for 3 more bets for those 2 games. We got a lot of good football to watch. So I appreciate all the support. Hope everyone has a great weekend enjoying some playoff football. And we'll talk to you soon.